People seem to really like realistic elevators in Minecraft, myself included. I personally think they're awesome, but every single realistic elevator that I've created in the past has always been a tiny bit ugly on the inside, just because you have to use movable objects and they don't tend to be particularly very pretty. But I think today I've come up with a way in which I can build a realistic elevator without it having the immovable objects involved. And I'm going to try my best to construct it in today's Redstone video. Fingers crossed this goes well. Okay, so first things first, we're going to need some form of flying machine, which that is going to do it for that section. And then I guess this will do it for that section. Okay, so this is a good start. And then we do this, and then I was thinking that we do something along these lines. Yeah, so that is one corner. Now, if I do the maths here, that is... I mean, how many blocks is that pushing? So that's pushing 8, 10, 12. Okay, we've gotten very lucky there. We can actually save one of the slime blocks by potentially putting the observer there. That also slims things down a little bit. Okay, so this is the first little part of our chamber. Then we just need to do the back wall, which is also going to be controlled by a flying machine. In theory, this is all of the flying machines in place to create our moving little chamber in here. This should all move as one. Should. It should all move as one. I mean, you never know with Redstone. This is just a kind of wild concept. I'm really hoping works, because otherwise I'll be so upset. But at this current point in time, I see no reason why it shouldn't. So the idea is that these three flying machines will all be activated at the same time, and these 2 flying machines will be activated maybe slightly earlier, so that these blocks just move up 1 tick before these blocks move up. I haven't even checked the block pushing. I don't even know how many blocks all of these are pushing. I haven't even checked the block limits. I'm just going to start wiring it up. I'm going to hope for the best. Backups have been made. So hopefully we can test this thing out without it destroying itself too badly. So if we just remove all of these, all of the obsidian has now been taken out of the equation. And what we're hoping for here is everything moving properly. Here goes. Right, okay, it's not perfect. We can safely say definitely not perfect in its current state, but it's promising. Weirdly, I actually think the delay being too short was the problem there, because it didn't allow the flying machines to take off. No, it seems unlikely. This is weird. This is weird. This is weird. I don't know. Let's just give it a go. 3 ticks, maybe? I don't really get it. What if I increase the delay even more? Oh, that's actually closer to it. There's lots wrong with it. But there's also quite a lot that's right with it. Plenty wrong with it, though. A lot. I wouldn't feel very safe being in that elevator. But we're getting somewhere, I think. Right, I've finally sort of got something. I wish that we didn't have that opening and closing action going on, though. But I unfortunately, I don't know if there's anything that I can do about it, which is really disappointing. So, as usual with this sort of thing, I have gone back to the drawing board, and I have reduced the complexity just a tiny bit. Now, we have lost some depth in our little carriage, so it is now only going to be 1 block deep, but there should be significantly less flying machine action going on, and most importantly, there aren't these 2 flying machines. So these 2 flying machines here, they're what were hitting into one another, and now they are unified. So, in theory, well, there's no way that they could fight each other because it's all one thing. Here goes the incredibly important test. Once again, backups have been made. Yes! That's exactly what we wanted to happen! Oh my word, that thing is so compact. Well, Well, that is about 90% of the circuitry done. I'm lost for words. So all of this can go die in a hole. And now with this much, much better design actually functioning on the way up, I think it's time to send it back down. And this little system right here should do the trick. And that will make its way back down to the bottom. And then in theory, it should stop nicely on that obsidian. And that is it fully reset. So now if we hit this button, that will send it back up to the top where it will stop. So there is our send and receive system. This is now essentially an elevator. And it is... it's simpler than I ever imagined. So I've done a little bit of decorating just to make this thing a tiny bit prettier. You can see that we have got the glass out the front, we've got the quartz pillars, and then because, you know, we're extremely wealthy, we're using white shulker boxes all the way up. Now these are the only immovable objects that we need, because these are the only blocks that are brushing past the slime blocks. That's why we can use the glass on the front, which I personally think looks really, really cool and reminds me of a real elevator. Now, as we move on to the details, I was expecting a little bit of added complexity for the doors, because of course we don't want the doors to be open when the elevator actually isn't there, but I don't know what I've eaten today, but I've come up with another smart solution for this, and that is to have little chests down at the bottom right here, which are just sending redstone signal through the slime block. So as soon as this thing moves off, obviously the doors will close up, because there is no longer a block to pass the redstone signal through. I must have eaten a smart pill this morning. Wait, before I blow my own trumpet too hard, I should probably check that this thing does actually function. And would you look at that, like clockwork! Oh my word! And up at the top here, it looks like it's going to be even easier, because all I have to do is, well, essentially run the redstone directly into the sticky pistons. Ooh. Actually, no. It's not going to be even easier. Because I have really very little space to work with. Thankfully though, my brain has once again kicked into action and it has come up with a solution to the problem. So instead of using a comparator and other bits and pieces like that, on this one we can actually get away with using direct redstone current, which gives us a few more options for redirecting the redstone signal. So here we have redstone dust on top of our hopper, which is an immovable and also transparent object because we don't want it to be powering these pistons. Then we run the redstone out across onto a block, redstone torch, and that unpowers these pistons and apparently makes it rain. We're just going to completely ignore that while I test this because it broke. Why did it break? These two slabs right here, how could I not have noticed those? Anyway, if we hit the button, that is a little bit more like it. Doors have closed and the rest of my elevator returns back down to the bottom. And doors open. Oh my god, that felt good in my chest. So I guess now all we have to do is the sending and receiving circuitry. So what are we thinking here? We thinking pressure plates? Yeah, I personally think pressure plates will be the cleanest option. Unfortunately, there aren't really any elegant ways to do the ask and receive circuits, I guess you could say, because, you know, you have to send redstone signals from the bottom of the elevator up to the top of the elevator just in case the elevator is at the top of the elevator while you're down at the bottom of the elevator. But I think I've done them. I think that should do it. Man, it doesn't look anywhere near as clean though, but it's still so simple. I mean, look, there's barely anything going on here redstone-wise. In my testing, I did discover a slight issue with using pressure plates, and that is the fact that as you leave the elevator, obviously it sends it back off. So I've swapped them out for buttons, and now it should all be working. So there's a little bit of delay inbuilt, but you can see, here goes our little elevator cart. We can walk around in this thing just fine. We get a nice view. There's no ugliness going on, and when we get down to the bottom, everything opens up. And that feels like a legitimate elevator. Is that not one of the coolest things? I need one of these on the Hermitcraft server right now. Like, seriously, now. I need to build one now. I love it. This is one of my favourite redstone contraptions I've ever created. Seriously, it's one of my favourites. I absolutely love this thing. Well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that you enjoyed this little redstone video. It's been a lot of fun to create. Of course, there will be a world download down in the description if you do want to check this thing out for yourselves and perhaps build it for yourselves. Build it for yourselves. This thing is top notch. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to hit that like button. And if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later. Oh, and if you want to see the latest short film that I shot with ZAF for the Chris and Chak YouTube channel, then a link will be on the end screen.